Got my messy $20 haircut.
I got my
the
decent $30 haircut.
This is the soccer cut.
Yeah.
Where everything comes to a point.
Yeah, you definitely look like you're a British soccer player.
Yes. All right. Okay.
Let's get on the pitch.
You know, you gaffer. Wanker. All right, put this here. Yeah, make it a little bit larger.
Cool.
All right. And let's start here in 5, 4. Oh, wait.
Yeah, you got to do Facebook.
What?
Or not Facebook. You got to do the...
No.
We
I want to make sure that this is...
live on YouTube?
No, we're live on YouTube already.
So I missed that part.
Oh, no, we're live on YouTube. I just want to make sure that this is...
Aha, yes, it was not on.
All right, that's cool. Okay, 5, 4, 3. In high definition stereo.
Yes. Hello, everybody, and welcome to this week's edition of the Media Boat Podcast. Hey, all of you in cyberspace who may be watching this live or recorded. Today is the
15th.
January 15th, 2022. As we continue into the future pin number ass year of 2022, I saw somebody on Twitter refer to it as a pin number year, and I was like, yeah, it checks out. Yeah. If you don't know what the Media Boat Podcast is, we are a podcast dedicated to bringing you news and thoughts about movies, television, video game, and music, not necessarily in that order. In fact, not in that order at all now, thanks to our new format. My name is Matt. His name is Mike.
I'm Mike. He's Matt. This is episode 314, which yes, at the start of this episode, we need to make a correction.
Yes.
Last week wasn't 313.
Who cares?
I'm still bitter that we didn't get to celebrate it.
Yeah, whatever.
In its proper format.
So this is our pie show, then, 314?
Yes, it's the pie show.
Delicious. Where's our pie?
Delicious pie split up.
Yeah, you're going to bring it. What happened? Mm-hmm. What happened to the pie?
Oh, I'm sorry. I have other things going on right now.
Not enough pie, I tell you. Oh, I didn't bring my mug. Thanks to a lovely Christmas present from this guy right here. I have a Media Boat Podcast official mug now. I drank some tea out of it earlier this week. It was very nice. I should be able to show it off right now, but maybe next time when we do live from my place.
I think the original idea was for us to do like a morning show host cheers thing.
That's cute. That's a cute idea, but that means you got to get one too.
That means I have to get one.
Yeah, that's how that works. Anyways, so thank you for joining us. I just realized I should be doing the intro. This is your job because you have the first half of the show now.
Yeah, we do.
I don't know why you were counting me in. All right.
Oh, I always count you in. It's a one.
There you go.
ABC. And let's get started.
Take it over. I'm throwing the ball to you.
And I am doing the one-handed circus juggling catch because we're going to start with music. And we're going to start the music with the Billboard.
Yes.
And we start the Billboard with the Hot 100.
Christmas songs, get out of here. We're done with you.
Your time is done. I'll see you in 12 months.
Yeah. We'll see you again, Mariah Carey.
Yes.
No, Christmas songs ousted out of the top 5. Back to normal.
Back to normal. And by normal, we actually mean Easy on Me by Adele. Mm-hmm. Stay by the Kid Laroi and Justin Bieber. Newcomer, Heat Waves by Glass Animals. Yeah. Yes, those Glass Animals.
Yeah, I know. Charting, I think, for the first time ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
No?
I think they were in Neon charted. I don't know if it charted this high, though.
I don't know if it was top 5, though. That's what I'm saying. I think this is their first time in the top 5.
Yeah.
So go good for them, I guess. I don't
know. Coming in at number 4, Shivers by Ed Sheeran. Mm-hmm. And coming in at number 5, we don't talk about this.
Just say the name of the song.
Well, we don't talk about...
We're going to talk a lot about this song, turns out, today.
Yes. We don't talk about Bruno on the Encanto soundtrack.
All right. So this is where we talk about this finally, because this has been a story that's been brewing for the last few weeks. A lot of people are listening to this song on streaming services. It's apparently the big hit off of the movie Encanto. Kids love it. Families love it. And it's getting on the top of the Spotify charts for weeks at this point. Millions upon millions of listens to this thing. And so naturally, so strong support that it ends up in the top 5 in the Hot 100. Do you think this is the strongest song in Encanto?
In terms of like an actual song?
Sure.
No.
No? Okay, interesting.
No.
Why do you think this one caught on like the other ones have not in the same way?
One, it's a catchy melody. Two, it's storytelling.
Yes.
And three, it's not a single person singing it. It's constantly shifting changes, and the actual beat and tone of it changes with each different person. So everyone brings their own different style and flair to it.
So yeah, it's interesting that this is the one that's finally catching after years. It's been years, a long time since Frozen's Let It Go did a similar kind of rise.
Oh, are we going to just ignore Moana?
That's the thing. The charts did. That's what I'm saying, is that we haven't seen a juggernaut of a Disney song since Let It Go. Nothing from Moana charted this high. Nothing had that impact that this is having. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's an interesting little thing about Encanto. It makes maybe this movie actually will be remembered more fondly than I think, just off the strength of this song.
I think it'll be remembered more fondly because it went to Disney Plus so quickly. That because it was the Christmas Day release, people saw it on Christmas Day. Hey, you're done opening your presents. Let's watch Christmas movie here in Encanto.
Yeah, and
we have access to it.
And I can attest to this with a personal story. My niece, the entire Christmas Day, was singing the song to us over and over and over again. She had seen the movie maybe twice at that point, and somehow it burrowed into her brain, little 6-year-old brain, enough to just think it was the best thing ever, and she just kept bringing it up.
Yes, it's so good it won't win an Oscar.
Oh well.
No, sorry, it won't win an Oscar. It cannot win an Oscar.
Yes.
Because it was never submitted in time.
Well,
it said they submitted Dos Oruguitas, the 2 Caterpillar song.
You know what? That's more Oscar baity anyways.
And that is more of the better song.
I could
even though it's in foreign language, you still get the same like resonant tone through it.
Yeah, I get it.
Also, they didn't submit this because they figured it was too spoiler heavy.
Sure, yes, absolutely.
Similar thing happened with Frozen 2.
Right, yes.
Where they submitted Into the Unknown and not Show Yourself.
Honestly, the better choice in my opinion anyways.
But because Show Yourself had spoiler in its lyrics, they decided not to show it. Same thing here. Because we don't talk about Bruno was like a central point in the film.
Yeah, so pivotal.
They decided not to submit it because everyone would have heard it and be spoilers in it.
But regardless of its success in actual award getting, it's an interesting story. I think it's a fun little bit of fun like trivia that this is the first time this has happened since Let It Go. And yeah, not since have we had a Disney song rise to these ranks. So good for Bruno.
Or Lin-Manuel?
Yeah, good for Lin-Manuel too.
Well, it's so good. It is so good. We get to see it again. Well, not the song itself, but rather the whole soundtrack. Because the power of the one song is propelling this whole soundtrack.
It seems like it, yes.
Into the Billboard 200, your albums chart, as your number one album is indeed Encanto by various artists.
Never would have guessed in a million years that the thing to dethrone 30 off of the top 200 is the Encanto soundtrack. You could have asked me what it would be, and I would say definitely not the Encanto soundtrack.
Oh, it's got some legs.
And yet here we are.
It's got some vocals, it's got some legs, it's got some
Never underestimate the power of families with little kids because they can change a lot. Anyway.
I mean, Frozen.
Frozen.
So is this
Cars.
A
lot of examples here.
Yes.
Anyway.
I mean, so is this so then do we see Encanto 2?
You know, I think it's possible. And the way that movie does storytelling, there are a lot of options there. You can tell so many stories about the characters that they introduced. It's an ensemble cast. You can do more with that concept. I actually think you're onto something. I never considered there to be an extension of that story, but I think they could totally do it. Would I rather it be a television show? Absolutely. But they're going to do a movie if they're going to do is follow up to this. So,
all right. Quick story. Where do you think they go with Encanto 2?
I think that you can tell a story about maybe... Well, I don't know. I don't work at Disney. Somebody smarter than me can come up with something.
Sorry. Hand down.
They haven't hired you
yet.
All right. Let's move on.
All right. Let's go on.
Got a lot of podcasts.
So Everyone coming behind Encanto in the album chart is number 2, 30 by Adele.
Yep.
Number 3, Dangerous, the double album by Morgan Wallen.
Somehow moving up instead of down.
I don't know. At 4, Sour by Olivia Rodrigo. And moving back up into the top 5, Red, Taylor's version by Taylor Swift.
Yeah, pretty much where we left it besides Encanto before the Christmas season. So
right, because Encanto came in during Christmas season and got that. Sorry.
A little bump.
Yep.
Anyways,
if you didn't like any of those albums, we have new releases for next Friday.
Like I said last week, from now on, next week's release.
Yes. So these are albums you can look forward to
Friday.
next week.
Yes.
Including Things Are Great by Band of Horses.
Things Are Great.
W by Boris. Heavy Steps by Comeback Kid. Bloor Street by Kiefer Sutherland.
Yes, that Kiefer Sutherland. I didn't know he was a musician until today.
He does bluegrass.
Oh, okay. Got it. All right. Sure.
He started doing it after 24.
Oh.
Or like towards like the final season. And it was like,
makes sense.
He just wants to do this now.
It's like
he made TV money.
Like Steve Martin's banjo career. Kind of same idea. Just what am I going to do? I'll play some music.
Yep, same idea. Archived Materials by Silverbacks.
Mm-hmm.
The Overload by Yard Act. And lastly, Night Cell by
Night Call.
Night Cell by Years and Years. And years and years and years and years and years and years and years.
But for some bands and artists that you have heard of.
Oh, people that you actually want to go see in concert. Guess what? You can do that again. So, assuming they haven't actually canceled the concert in your area.
Not yet. But last week, we kind of hinted at the story. Now we have the story for you.
Yes. We kind of dropped the hint that, hey, Coachella lineup should be coming up. And, 3 days later, our prayers were answered.
It's here. All our questions were answered. We were wondering about the...
I still have one question, though.
Sure, yes. And this asks the same question as well. But yeah... The question was, when we left this story about Coachella last week, was who are the headliners going to be?
Right. And we tried to reminisce and try to figure out, okay, where we were last year, who's still confirmed to be a headliner. We said Swedish House Mafia. We didn't know which day. They said they were coming back, but maybe they didn't. Maybe they changed their mind.
Well, guess what?
The whole Travis Scott issue, too.
They decided to throw the baby out with the bathwater because all 3 headliners have been replaced.
So this is not just a rewind. This is a complete refresh.
Not a complete refresh. There are some names on the other, on the lower end of the ticket that continue from the 2020 poster. But a lot of these are fresh faces. And like I said, the headliners, except for one weird asterisk we'll get to, are completely new.
Yep. And they don't get much prettier faces than Harry Styles, who will join headliners Billie Eilish and Ye at Coachella.
Ye, yes.
The
artist formerly known as Kanye West.
Yes. Who changed his name to Ye.
Yay.
Whitey.
Yay.
So Swedish House Mafia are also expected to perform.
Yeah.
Although it is unclear whether or not they are headliners.
So how they're credited on the poster is weird. You have the 3 big names, everybody underneath them. And then at the very, very bottom, they carved out some space for, and a special desert performance by Swedish House Mafia. So the question is, when are they performing? Are they always performing? I saw a joke in the Stereo Gum article about this where they were like, are they just going to have a residency in one of the tents and just cycle through the members of Swedish House Mafia and constantly play something? I could see that.
That'd be good.
But I don't know how they're going to do it. But yes, they're not technically a headliner, but they are. It's confusing.
Yeah. The official announcement full lineup was released on Wednesday. This will be the first performance at the festival by Harry Styles, who sources say may release new music before Coachella.
Maybe.
He recently completed the big North American tour by any major artist since the pandemic began in early 2020, although he has not released a new album since Fine Line in December of 2019.
Yeah, so he's due.
Yep. And rumors about new music have been rife in recent weeks.
Rife rumors.
The news of his presence on the bill was first reported by Billboard, but then Variety broke the news of Kanye West's performance last week, which Kanye West was a Coachella headliner in 2011.
Fun fact about that one, he technically was a co-headliner because that night it was him and The Strokes, which goes to show you how long 2011 was, like how long ago that was when they could share a headliner.
But didn't he do the Sunday service after that?
No, this predates the Sunday service stuff.
Wow.
Yes, 2011, he was touring off of My Beautiful Dark Fantasy.
Right.
Which is way before any of that shit. He starts the Sunday service thing around 2016, around the Life of Pablo era.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. That even though it says that his last performance was 2011,
he technically was in the Coachella Valley. You're right. After, I think, 2016 or 2017 to do some sort of thing like that.
Right. His Kanye Sunday service.
Yeah.
Right. And then, of course, Billie Eilish is being Billie Eilish and doing performances everywhere and winning Grammys and doubling down on Grammys.
But as this mentions, she is now the youngest headlining act at Coachella of all time at 20. So, there's never been a younger person than her. So, of course, until Olivia does it next year. Sorry. Seems inevitable, really. She'll be 19, I think. So that'll still qualify.
Still qualify. See, this is when you start like doing the counting by days thing. That MLB does.
Yeah.
Like, the youngest by X amount of days.
Yeah. Get your stat hats on.
Yep. Meanwhile, Swedish House Mafia also previously performed at Coachella in 2012.
And they were still an active band.
Yep. So, along with Ye, Eilish, and Mr. Styles himself, the lineup will also include Lil Baby, Daniel Caesar, Phoebe Bridgers, Big Sean, Megan Thee Stallion, 21 Savage, Danny Elfman.
Yes, that Danny Elfman.
Doja Cat, Joji, Run the Jewels, King Gizzard and the Wizard Lizard.
Well, we'll talk about them later.
And Carly Rae Jepsen.
Yeah, I was actually going to say, Media Boat favorite Carly Rae Jepsen is making her first Coachella appearance. First?
I'd say first.
Maybe. I don't know. Maybe she's been there before. But she'll first one in a long time, at least. And she'll be there on night 1. Mm-hmm. So congratulations, Carly.
Yep.
But not a bad lineup this year. I looked through it. Seems like day 2 seems to be the day, at least with most artists that I like. But it seems like a pretty even distribution. Another note I want to make about about the headliners is traditionally the third night headliner is the retro act. But as you may have noticed,
it's Ye.
All 3 of them are not really retro acts this year. And it seems like, and you posited this, and I think you're right, is that he did it because it was Sunday.
Yeah.
It's like, no, Kanye wants Sunday because he gets to do his whole Sunday shtick.
It's also, you close out Coachella. It's the first thing you talk about the next morning on Monday.
Oh, yeah. Nobody is paying attention to anything that's happening.
That's literally why he does it.
During his set. Absolutely. That's going to dominate.
Everything else is closed. It's just him. You do the Sunday show, or do the Sunday night show, and as you're leaving, he wants it to be the last thing you're talking about at night as you're driving back, and first thing in the morning, when it hits the news.
So, I guess beware after the single he dropped overnight last night. Maybe don't go, Pete Davidson. Looking at you.
Specifically, Pete Davidson.
Yeah. Did you hear about this? He put out a solo, a single last night that was apparently about how he's going to beat up Pete Davidson.
Because the Kim thing?
Yeah.
Because Kanye can do that? I thought he hires people to do that.
No, I don't know. Not according to that one guy who wanted an autograph. That story is not on today's podcast, thank God. Anyways, so that's Coachella. I don't know. It seems like an okay year. Again, if it happens, it's still scheduled for dates in April. Who knows where we'll be come April? We have a couple more months to see where this Omicron goes. Remains to be seen. But as of right now, Coachella has a lineup and they're planning on doing it.
And that's first 2 weeks of April.
Yes.
So go. No, that's up to you. How much do you actually want to see these people?
Exactly.
Because we had noticed or had noted at a previous podcast about Golden Voice being relaxed on their
they're no longer requiring at least as of the last time we heard about this, was months ago.
Yes.
They were not going to require vaccination status. They may change. We'll see what Golden Voice says.
Yep. But we have other news to get to. And we enter the world of streaming.
Yes.
As Spotify has announced that its high-quality audio tier, Spotify Hi-Fi, which it had said would launch in select markets in November.
Yeah, last November,
has been delayed indefinitely.
So basically, question mark.
Well, that was the pause. Like, okay, it's delayed until
who knows?
Eventually figure it out.
Yeah, who could say?
So, responding to a thread on its community website where users had voiced frustration and anger over the delay, Spotify said that it has no updates on when the tier may become available. Quote, "We know that hi-fi quality audio is important to you. We feel the same, and we're excited to deliver a Spotify hi-fi experience to premium users in the future. But we don't have timing details to share yet.
Yeah.
We will, of course, update you here when we can." And then they hung up the phone, and you're supposed to leave a message after the beep.
Yeah.
Judging by the response online, users were neither placated nor satisfied by the open-ended delay or the uncharacteristic terseness of the reply.
Yeah, so I included this in here because Spotify is still, like it or not, the biggest player in the streaming space. So when they said that they were going to try to equal both what Amazon and Apple has already done, and Tidal before that, it made sense because that's a huge pool of users that could potentially like enjoy that feature. And to just be like, I don't know, who knows, is a weird move to me. It's like a weird thing to say, especially for something that was supposed to come out months ago. It's a weird vibe for something that Apple figured out almost a year ago at this point.
This is turning into Final Fantasy 13 Versus 2, where it eventually we'll get to it, and then eventually completely change its name later.
It's just weird. But although this gives me an opportunity to say that I have an update about the Apple Music Dolby Atmos. Yes. Now listen to it on a proper Dolby Atmos soundbar surround setup.
Okay.
As opposed to just in the the Apple headphones. And it sounds better. I get it now.
You get it? Now that you have the setup for it?
Now that I have the setup for it, I say that if you have a Dolby Atmos compatible system, try that. And I think it leads to better results than the headphone version of it. So, yeah, if you have that, give it a try. It's nice.
Yeah, except when you're doing that with other people, though.
Yeah, I mean, yes, it's shared music.
Yeah, shared music.
But yeah, the problem with the AirPods was always that the vocal seemed really far away. It's quiet. Not a problem with speakers. You don't run into the same issue. So, just fun fact about that.
Nice. So, audio listening party at your place.
When it's safe to do so, maybe someday.
Maybe someday. All right. So, let's get into some music thoughts then.
Yes.
Did you listen to anything?
No, a little bit of an off week. Just some singles, no albums really this week. Yeah, just was doing more catch up last week. No big releases have come out.
So I have one new release that came out this week. I mentioned that I was going to listen to it, so I have the Lumineers' Bright Side.
Yeah.
How much do you like the Lumineers will determine how much you like this album.
Like that.
Either the fourth or the fifth one. But it's the same folksy songs, same folksy album that we're used to. Lots of pianos. I love it.
Sure.
They also keep their tradition of having a single girl's name in the albums, which I absolutely love.
Who is it this time? So we had Ophelia.
Yeah, we had Ophelia. We had, I think Sophia was one of them as well.
All right.
Before that, I forget which one was this one, but they continue it.
Charlotte.
No. They also, one thing I did notice that all of their single title tracks are all capitalized, so it's like they're yelling at me.
Oh, no.
But yeah, how much you actually like the Lumineers before this will determine how much you actually like this album.
Sure.
Because they found their style. Folk songs with the piano and slight guitar here and there. But, it's for someone. I don't know if it's for me. I used to like that kind of music. Don't really like it now, but it's good to know that they're still making that kind of music for people who want that kind of music.
Speaking of 2012, it's not 2012 anymore.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, one thing that was noted while the doctor was listening to it was that the chorus repeats a lot at the end of songs.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, that's the refrain. It's just, that's what they do. That's what they kind of do for their songs. They refrain for like a minute at the end.
Yeah, whenever I think about bands like the Lumineers, I think of like a gathering of people around a fire.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's accurate to what other people think, but that's immediately the vibe that I get from their songs.
No, it reminds me of Boho Days.
Boho Days?
From Tick Tick Boom. People are just in a party, someone's just jamming on the piano, people are just, about this.
Sure.
Also, that kind of like wailing.
There's a lot of that.
There's a lot of that. So if that doesn't scratch your ears, or if that scratches your ears the wrong way, not for you.
I always say it, and I'll say it again. If you like bands like the Lumineers, if you want to hear something that's actually better, I recommend the band Saint Seneca. They're a favorite of mine, and it's the same kind of folksy vibe, but I think much more fascinating arrangements. Anyways, check them out. That's my tip. Music tip of the week.
Yep. So don't listen to Lumineers. Listen to 60 Seconds.
Yes. All right, let's move on.
Let's move on then to video games, and we start with new releases, including Nobody Saves the World.
No
one. Not even.
Not even you.
Not even you. For the Xbox One, Xbox Series X, and PC.
Mm-hmm.
Black Wind for everything.
Yep.
If you got it, you can play it. The Hitman trilogy.
Yeah.
Everything.
It's a collection of all of the Hitman 1, 2, and 3. The most recent Hitman trilogy, I should say.
Yep.
So, on everything.
On everything.
Except for Switch.
But the Switch. Yep. We also have RP Golf.
Yeah.
Or RPG Golf.
RPG
Legends. For everything. Nothing. This isn't League of Legends, right?
No, it's unrelated.
Unrelated.
I think it's a golf RPG.
Right.
As the name implies.
Yes. There's also Rainbow Six Extraction.
Yes, finally.
Finally, for everything but the Switch.
This was the one that was not announced a long time ago, originally called Rainbow Six Quarantine, and then had its name changed.
You can't do that.
And it's the one where it's the fantasy-esque one where it's a zombie invasion. And
lastly, Windjammers 2.
Yes.
For the PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC.
Sequel to the classic Windjammers. Out time.
Yep. Not on new consoles, but you can play the old discs on the new consoles.
Yeah, it'll be compatible with your new consoles.
Yes. Speaking of old consoles.
Yes, this consoles being the PS4 and Xbox One.
Yes. You can no longer get old consoles. That is our first story.
Well, yes and no.
So yes, you can get the consoles.
Yes.
But they're not rolling off the assembly line as they.
Yes and no, but we'll get there. This is two stories in one.
Yeah. Because about both Microsoft and Sony.
Yes.
So first, Microsoft has confirmed that it quietly, not telling anyone, stopped producing all Xbox One consoles at the end of 2020.
Yeah.
The platform, Microsoft, said in July of 2020 that it was discontinuing the Xbox One X and Xbox One S, all digital edition consoles, but that Xbox One S would continue to be manufactured and sold globally. However, coinciding with the Xbox Series X and S launch later that year, Microsoft also stopped producing Xbox One S consoles. Quote, to focus on production of Xbox Series X and S, we stopped production for all Xbox One consoles by the end of 2020. Said Cindy Walker, the senior director of Xbox Consoles product marketing.
Yeah. Real quick, it makes sense considering that the similarities between the Series S and the Xbox One X were pretty close performance-wise. And so it didn't make a whole lot of sense for them to manufacture both. It also allows them to focus more on cranking out more of those.
It adds a production line that you didn't have.
And apparently it's been in their favor, as recent sales numbers shows Series X actually making a dent into sales numbers for the first time in a while, catching up to those PS5 numbers that we've reported on.
You mean because people can actually get Xboxes?
They're getting more prevalent. I mean, I'm proof of this since I got one fairly recently. And like, they're getting easier. Now, of course, walk into a store easy yet. And I think that's going to be a barrier to entry for a lot of people still. But that being said, they're more available than ever. It's getting easier, and Microsoft made it that way by ending that production. What does that mean for people who don't want a series console and want an older console? It's going to get harder to find. You're going to have to rely on the resale market, but as people get newer consoles, hopefully they'll be like me and put those older consoles back into the resale market. I sold my Xbox Series X One X and my PS4 Pro last week at GameStop. I got a cool $560 for both of them.
Okay.
Yeah, and my PS4, as you well know, had a disk drive issue. They found that out when they tested it.
Of course they did. I told you they would.
Yep, and so I got a little bit of a cut in how much they gave me for that. So I only got $240 for it. You can get up to $330 for these guys. Okay. This One X got a little bit more. I ended up getting $315 for that. So, but not bad considering that if I was to sell that to a person, I don't think I would have gotten that much.
I mean, considering you bought it at $500 and you depreciated $200 over
not bad
6 years.
Not bad considering.
No, for a console.
Not bad for any console, really. So yeah, I would recommend checking out your local GameStops, checking out eBay if you're looking for something like that. They're around.
You don't recommend what I'm doing is having my PS4 tucked away back there.
Right. Yeah, it's not doing anything with it. Yeah, I mean, check out options. PS4's base models also can get you like upwards of $200 at this point. So yeah, it's a good market for a resale. However, maybe PS4s might not have a future in the resale market because of our second story linked to this one.
Yeah, because Sony has reportedly extended production of its last-gen PlayStation 4 console as PS5s remain a scarce supply due to the component.
So Sony is doing the opposite of what Microsoft is doing.
Yeah. Well, this is also according to a new report by Bloomberg, which claims that the corporation of Sony had planned to stop making PS4 consoles last year, but has now told assembly partners it will continue making the console through this year of 2022. This decision will see the creation of around 1 million PS4 units this year and offset some of the pressure on PlayStation 5 production, which requires more advanced chips. Increasing production will also help Sony negotiate better deals with manufacturing partners, but that's behind the scenes stuff.
And yeah, I think it's really interesting to see the difference between the two companies' strategy here. Sony needed a solution to what Microsoft figured out, which is having a lower tier, easier to produce, cheaper model like the Series S. Sony chose to instead double down on PS4s. Basically like, one has a disk drive, one doesn't, but they're pretty much the same manufacturing process. The risk they took there was that, these are pricier components and it's harder to crank them out. So their compromise here is being like, you know what, we're not going to glut the market with a lot of PS4s, but we'll at least make another million to at least fill some of those spots where people who are looking for any console at all can find something.
Or for people who want to make the switch from Xbox to PlayStation, can't get PS5, but can get the PS4 with the entire back catalog. Right,
exactly. It's just an interesting moment where the two philosophies have diverged.
Yep.
And it makes it even more complicated of a market though for people who are looking at video game systems. It's not like the old days where you can just say get this. Now there's a lot of questions you have to ask. Like, well, do you have a 4K television? Do you have broadband internet? Do you have do you want something that runs discs? Do you not need to run discs? Do you need the best of the best? Do you want to settle for something mid-tier? There's so many questions now about getting into a console that it never used to be this hard. But, oh well. Might have a gutter.
Yeah.
Anyways. So I don't know about this, but if you're looking for a console, I guess do your research is what I'd have to say.
Or join the forces of online bandits to try and scoop one up.
Good luck.
As someone who actually
succeeded both times, it's miracle. Honestly, I got lucky both times. Is all I can say. So just roll the dice.
Yeah.
Anyway, now I have $560 to spend on GameStop.com that I'm not sure what I'm going to do.
Anyways,
you need a Series S? I can get you a Series S.
No,
they make those.
Console.
All right, well, let me know.
No, I don't need another console. I'm good with the.
I have GameFly, and I only buy things digitally. I have no idea what I'm going to do with that money.
Right.
And I got store credit because they would give me more store credit. So I'm like, what the hell am I going to buy for GameStop? I don't know.
I think they sell like the Visa gift cards.
So that's the thing is apparently
it doesn't work towards it.
I'm going on a little tangent here, so bear with me.
Hey, we're still in video games, so GameStop counts.
So buyer beware. Here's my buyer beware. I have heard and I've seen this happen. If you try to buy some gift cards, and that could be to anything, but it could be Xbox, PlayStation, points, etc., with a gift card, if you try to cheat the system, basically get your money back through a different portal, there's a chance, and I think it seems like a pretty high percentage chance, that they will try to rip you off by giving you codes that have already been redeemed or that don't work. I tried my hand at this. I decided, you know what? I'm going to try to buy some Xbox gift cards with this money. The codes were redeemed. I Googled it. I was pre-redeemed. They told me, they errored out on me.
Ooh.
All 3 codes that I bought. Spent $150, 3 $50 gift cards. Went to Google, tried to see what people on Reddit were saying. Reddit said, go to Microsoft support. So I went to Microsoft support. Microsoft support tells me, we can't do anything about it. They've already been redeemed. Give this reference number to GameStop support, and they should give you new codes. I go back to GameStop support. A guy in GameStop support says, wait, they're already redeemed? And I'm like, yes, they're already redeemed. And he's like, okay, give me your info. I gave him my info. And I said, Microsoft said that if I give you this reference number, you guys will fix it. He said, oh, sorry, we need to escalate this. It'll be 72 hours. I wait 3 full days, hear nothing. I go back to GameStop support, say, hey, your dude told me within 72 hours I would have this issue escalated. What's going on? He said, there's no evidence of escalation. I have to start escalation again today. Wait another 72 hours. Thankfully, I only waited another 24. I got an email. Guess what GameStop's solution to this problem was?
You can buy more gift cards?
They're sending me a physical GameStop gift card for the $150. Because I imagine what they did was, well, we can't give them more digital codes. We don't have any good ones. We don't miss, and we want to refund them, but we can't refund the gift card because that's not how that works.
Right.
So what do? Let's send him a physical GameStop gift card so he's still trapped in our ecosystem. That was their solution. The solution was to basically give me a non-solution. I'm back at square one. So now I just know, though, not to buy gift cards.
So you went through a whole week of sending them a gift card, and then just for them to send you a gift card.
Exactly. That's all they did. So I'm getting a $150 gift card in the mail, the physical mail, that I guess I use in tandem with the one that they gave me for the resales. So, yeah, that's my buyer beware. If you have money on a GameStop gift card or a resale gift card for GameStop, do not buy digital products because they may not work.
Well, I know what you can do with the gift card.
Shove it up their ass. No. What can I do with the gift card?
You can pre-order Kirby and the Forgotten Land.
All right, let's talk about Kirby.
So Nintendo released a new trailer for Kirby and the Forgotten Land and confirmed its release date, March 23rd.
Yeah. Late birthday present. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. The new trailer also showed off co-op gameplay for the first time, with players able to with player 2 control a bandana Waddle Dee to help Kirby on his mission.
A Waddle Dee with a bandana. How badass is that?
That's how you know it's your player.
Yeah. He is a player. He's a player in multiple meanings of the word.
Kirby will be able to inhale enemies to gain their abilities as usual. And the trailer, which you see shows off some new abilities like the drill, which makes him drill to the ground and attack enemies from beneath, and Ranger, which lets him attack enemies at a distance.
Yeah, I included this because this game looks really cool.
It does.
It looks like somebody took Mario Odyssey / 3D World, that engine, and then put a Kirby game in it, and it looks great. It looks really fun.
Someone said, "Hey, why can't we do to Kirby what we've done to Mario and Zelda?"
Yes.
That's like Metroid.
Slap in an open world. It looks like you can go quickly through the open world on a warp star, which seems so cool. The co-op makes it like a cool shared experience kind of game. A lot of new powers, a lot of new enemies. It just looks like a whole fun play. So I'm very excited for a couple months to pass to give this a try.
Yeah, like I said, you can use that GameStop for it.
I mean, again, though, but I have GameFly that I'm already paying for. That's easier.
Yeah, but you don't own it. That's a rent.
Did you get an email about
Yes, yes, I did.
So Kana got returned.
Kana got returned.
Deathloop got returned. I still have not gotten confirmation for Metroid.
Okay.
I'm sure maybe I'll get that today. It's weird. So at least that problem got solved.
Yes.
But yeah, I
got the email. They're sending me Death Stranding Director's Cut now.
Oh, jeez.
Because I forgot to update my queue.
Yeah, get ready. So yeah, I featured my queue now. I have Arceus and Horizon. I have Arceus, Horizon. What's after that?
See, it's in my. Those are in my queue.
Yeah.
But because the date for Arceus is until like 5 days from now.
Yes.
It won't send it, and they won't hold it.
Right.
And then they won't hold the disc.
So.
For Arceus. They're.
Oh yeah, and I have Kirby and Saints Row. I think after that.
Yeah, Saints Row is like later
in the list, August.
Yeah.
But yeah, so looking forward to new games.
Yep. Well, I thought because I added It Takes Two and I moved it to the top. I thought it would take it, but I guess I did too late.
Guess not.
So.
All right.
We'll see. All right. Did you play anything?
No. I ended up hopping back into the show because man, I miss baseball. I kind of.
We'll talk about baseball in a bit here.
Yeah, I did a two-pronged approach. I moved to the Xbox. I wanted to try the Series X version of it. And like I said last week, it doesn't run quite as well. But I started a new road to the show. Now I'm a closer. I'm a closing pitcher.
Okay, you only come in for like 5 pitches?
Yeah, so it means that I cycle through games quicker.
Yes.
But it's also kind of nice because I can make sure that we get more wins. Like, I can take the reins for once.
They don't pull you in the 8th and then lose?
Yeah, so I think I have 15 saves to the season right now.
Oh, that's
I'm not doing too bad.
Our very own Sandman here.
Still fucking, man, fuck the Oakland A's so much. Every time.
Yeah,
every single time.
Always intense Matt Chapman?
It's not even Matt Chapman anymore. He's not as intense as he used to be, apparently. No, it's the other Matt Olson.
Matt Olson?
Kicks my ass.
Yep.
Anyway, so yeah, it's still having fun with that. So, but yeah, no new video games. I still haven't got back to Halo.
I guess that pretty much says what it's all you can about Halo then.
I mean,
or at least where you're at with Halo.
I still like it. I still think it's a very good game. It's just it's got the Halo problem that I mentioned last week, which is if you get a bad save, you might have to roll back your save because it's just I feel like I'm hitting a wall every time I play it.
I'm playing Madden right now because football postseason.
Yeah.
And I'm at a crossroads between between someone awesome winning the Super Bowl, but that also means the Ninnies winning the Super Bowl.
The Ninnies?
Yeah, the Niners.
Oh.
And I don't want that to happen. But I'm on the team.
But don't you want someone awesome to have a ring though?
See, here's the thing: I can rush for like 600 yards and not score.
Yeah. Also, his value shoots up if he was on a Super Bowl winning team. Then you can use that as leverage to hopefully get him.
Yeah, but there's no button that says demand a trade.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. And if I do win the Super Bowl, then they're going to sign me to like the max contract, and I'm never going to get out of there.
You can do that mid-season in the show. You can just be like, nah, I don't want your contract. I want to be sent to free agency.
And I want to send myself to free agency.
Yeah.
And hopefully see where I go.
Yeah.
But you can't do that because you start under a rookie contract for 3 years.
Yeah, that's true. But, all right. Well, good luck to someone else in making this life-changing decision.
I don't know. I got the Super Bowl game next, and I rushed for like 400 yards, but maybe just means I got to turn up the difficulty. Next season.
Yeah, next season.
Next season. Get the ring at the rookie year and then crank it up.
Right. Yeah, makes sense to me.
Yep.
They should have the dynamic stuff that the show does.
Oh no, they do.
They do.
Yeah. I turned it off.
Yeah, I ended up turning that off to me too, because you don't get catcher hints where they tell you placement and All-Star or above. They turn it off.
Oh, see, I turned it off because I kept getting stopped at the line. I had like 20 rushes for 25 yards.
Yeah,
because my line was dumb.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh man, this sucks. Let me just turn the difficulty down 1. And then that just turning it down 1 changed it from me getting like 30 yards a game to 130 yards a game.
Yeah, that's the difference it makes. Yeah, I'm afraid I've now defaulted to just the default veteran.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens. Like
I said, I'll probably turn it for season 2 and see where we go from there.
R.I.P. John Madden.
Yes.
Anyways,
let's stop talking about virtual sports.
Talking about virtual sports and moving
actual
to
sports.
Actual sports, because we are going to flip on into television and talk about the Sports Corner, which is back this week. Say hello to the Sports Corner. We start sports with the CFP national champions, Georgia, who beat Alabama 33-18.
Yep. With future quarterback in a movie featuring him. Stetson, defeating Alabama. This guy's story is pretty amazing. He walked onto Alabama 4 years ago, told him he wasn't good enough, went to JV, not JV, went to community college.
Sure.
Got better, balled out, came back as a walk-on to Georgia, started the season as the 4th string, and ended up beating out everybody to win the national championship.
Real rags to riches.
Yes. So there. American Underdog coming to a story.
I guess so. Yeah, 2.
American Underdog 2. The Bulldog.
Yeah.
Is that American Bulldog?
American Under Bulldog.
Under Bulldog.
Blunder Dog. Anyway. There's your little college football update.
Yep, that means college football is now over.
Yes.
Which means players can now enter the transfer portal.
Ooh, sounds sci-fi.
And this is where they start moving around to different colleges because they go to college to play football and not, get an education. Yeah. Unlike it's supposed to be like the reverse way.
That's for people who like to watch football. It means that you can put all your focus into valuable cable, apparently. Yeah. You put all your focus into professional football as the NFL playoffs await us. Packers and Titans retain their number 1 seed going into the playoffs and have first-round byes. And then,
Well, because the regular season ended this past last weekend, we had Black Monday, where all the head coaches get fired. Well, not all, but the losing coaches get fired.
Yes. 6 opening head coaching.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That should be 8.
Yeah, that should be 8.
So Black Monday started with 6 coaches, but then 2 more got fired later in the week.
So the list includes Jaguars, who, by the way, have the number 1 pick again. The Raiders, the Broncos, the Dolphins, the Bears, the Vikings, the Giants, and the Texans. Oh my. All of them need coaches.
Out of all 8 of these teams, one of them actually ended up making the playoffs. And they still don't have a head coach.
So watch this space.
Yep. Raiders, because John Gruden and that whole thing.
Yeah.
They've been dealing with an interim head coach right now, but they're coming into the playoff game today.
Yeah.
Oh no, for tomorrow. They said that they will look for a new head coach beginning next season.
Yeah.
Or for next season, even though this one is not over for them yet, and not just say, "Hey, you're doing a good job, interim head coach. Maybe we'll keep you on and give you the job full time next year."
Yeah. So we'll see what happens. This is always a weird situation. These coaches in and out, going in and out. Who knows?
Yeah. Most of the time, these coaches will just flip teams. Go from one head coaching job to another head coaching job.
Yeah.
Or they'll go from one head coaching job to an offensive coordinator somewhere, or do what Jim Harbaugh did and go to college football and become a head coach there.
Right. Could happen.
But we'll see all these coaches again somewhere. They just keep shuffling around.
Coach shuffle.
Yep.
All right. Let's move out of football and into baseball. As you mentioned at the top of the show, a little update, kind of non-update, about the MLB's struggle right now with the players. Thursday, as we had mentioned, was going to be the first time that some bargaining was going to happen, or potentially going to happen.
They were going to meet on Zoom.
League was going to meet with some new terms. They did. They made their first labor proposal, which focused on a narrow set of issues that, guess what? No one's surprised here. Did very little to encourage the players and heightened the likelihood of spring training being postponed. So if you're crossing your fingers that there's some sort of landmark decision that was going to happen this week, it didn't happen. We now moved the clock to early February, where we're going to have this same thing happen again, which will hopefully then we will know the fate of spring training.
We won't.
Which is probably no.
Yes.
There probably will not be spring training at the end of March, so don't get excited.
Well, it's the start of March.
Start of March. Sorry, I don't think. I guess I meant by the end of February.
By the end of February, start of March.
It's probably not gonna happen. We probably won't see spring training until April, May, which will then postpone the season potentially.
Yep.
I don't know. It looks dark, but we knew that going into this that it wasn't going to be.
Yep. And a postponed season hasn't happened in MLB since 2020.
Yeah,
when they had to do an 80 games starting in July.
Yeah, and if it goes into a full lockout, that hasn't happened since
94.
Yeah, so we'll definitely see what happens. So watch that space. Just play a lot more of the show. that's what I'm gonna do. Like make my own 2022 season.
Yep. And then side note to that, just we're talking about MLB. Oakland Raiders may not be the Oakland Raiders very much longer. Sorry, Oakland A's. May not be the Oakland A's.
The Raiders are already not the Oakland Raiders.
Well, yeah. Well, see, that's in my mind because that's where the Raiders went, and that's probably where Oakland's going to go too.
Yeah,
or the A's are going to go.
It's too bad that they can't just name them the Aces because it's already a team in another league.
Yep.
But yeah, we may see. Vegas for them. Maybe they'll get worse.
Maybe
because again, fuck the Oakland A's. Yeah. You do see my hat.
As mentioned before.
Yes. Anyways.
All right. And the last sports story is the ongoing saga of the Australian Open, which is continuing right now. But the focus isn't who's on the court, but rather who's off the court.
Yes. So, of course, we're talking about the ongoing saga of Novak Djokovic, who continues to be yes and no in Australia. He arrived in Melbourne last week and promptly had his visa canceled for entering without valid exemption for Australia's vaccination requirement for all arrivals. However, a judge ruled Monday that he should be allowed to stay. Australia's immigration minister then revoked the tennis star's visa once again on Friday, saying, quote, "It was in the public interest to do so." Novak was detained ahead of a court hearing on his case to stay in the country and play in the Australian Open. It still remains to be seen whether or not that will qualify.
Right, and he may get off on a technicality here because the time that he was given by the immigration minister to provide documents was like an hour, like only an hour time before his time was up. In the middle of the night, like at 3 a.m. when nobody was open, no one could answer phone calls.
Sure.
So wasn't enough time given for him to provide additional documents. No, the one document they want, he cannot supply.
Yeah. And won't. This is just embarrassing. It's just, when will it end? When will it end? I ask. I guess the end of the Australian Open.
Yeah. But not, because people are still playing tennis and the Australian Open.
Anything else in sports before we move on to proper?
Not enough for us to talk about.
Fair enough. All right, let's move on to television news. We start TV news with the SAG Awards. Yes, award season continues to run forward. This is technically both a television and a film story, as both kinds of forms are nominated in these awards.
Yeah, but this one actually gets shown on TV.
SAG, of course. See what you did there.
We'll get to that later.
SAG, of course, Screen Actors Guild. Ridley Scott's House of Gucci and Jane Campion's Power of the Dog leads the film awards with 3 nominations. However, it was House of Gucci to claim a nomination for the ensemble cast, which, as we say often on the Media Book podcast, is sometimes, not always, but sometimes a hint at your Best Picture winner at the Oscars. Nominees for that prize included House of Gucci, as well as Belfast, Coda, Don't Look Up, and King Richard. Meanwhile, on the television front, Succession and Ted Lasso scored a leading 5 nominations, while Mare of Easttown, The Morning Show, and Squid Game each landed 4 nominations apiece. The best ensemble in a drama series race will be between The Handmaid's Tale, The Morning Show, Succession, Squid Game, and Yellowstone. For the second year in a row, the Screen Actors Guild Awards took to its Instagram page to announce this year's nominees, with Rosario Dawson and Vanessa Hudgens doing the honors. The award show will be on February 27th, airing on TNT and TBS. So we'll see the big winners then and be able to see what that means going into the rest of award season.
Yep. Read about favorite Ted Lasso. A bunch of nominations there.
Good to see. Squid Game making an impact after a huge year on Netflix. Definitely putting at least a little bit of variety into the acting nominees. I saw a viral tweet going around that was like, when you're the token minority, and it was because there was only one person from Squid Game in each of the categories with a bunch of white people besides them. It was kind of embarrassing, but hey, at least they're being considered, I guess.
Makes me wonder if Squid Game would be getting all these nominations if they hadn't been on Netflix or had.
No, I think
all the success of people talking about it.
Netflix's success with that show really probably led to them pushing them for nominees,
right?
In a way that they wouldn't have otherwise. So it's good and bad is what I'll say. It's good because I want a show like Squid Game to be considered, and as we get more into this era of Korean entertainment making a huge impact here, but at the same time, shouldn't be the only representation for somebody who is not white. It's like, you gotta work harder. SAG. Anyways, let's move on to our second story. Something that will never be nominated for any award. The Santa Claus is coming back. And yes, I mean Clause, not Claus, Claus.
No, like clause, like the bottom of the contract, the fine print.
As in Tim Allen's The Santa Claus, the 90s into 2000s trilogy of Christmas films, is coming back in Disney Plus limited series form with Tim Allen himself in tow. Happy Santa forever. He's starting to lose his step in the Santa duties, and more importantly, he's got a family who could benefit from life in a normal world, especially his 2 kids who have grown up at the North Pole. With a lot of elves, children, and family to please, Scott sets out to find a suitable replacement Santa while preparing his family for a new adventure and the life south of the North Pole. By the way, the last time Tim Allen Santa'd up was in 2006 for the third in the series, Santa Claus 3, The Escape Clause.
Yes, but as many of us know from the original film, you don't go out and find a replacement, the replacement finds you.
Yes, so it's a weird premise, knowing that. I don't know, but it's Disney Plus trying the same thing they did with Turner and Hooch. Basically, how can we tell the story in the new generation? How do we set up a new generation of this world?
Right. Plus, didn't the original film give us kind of that alluded ending with Charlie saying, I'm going into the family business as Santa Claus and knocking my dad off a roof and taking his clothes and the reindeer.
I don't think patricide is a thing that they want to dwell on here, so I don't know if that's going to happen.
Don't worry, it's Popo Shisho side.
Anyway, who knows?
Paranoia side.
Yeah, good one. Who knows what this will be? I don't know. You'd think they would have learned their lesson after Turner and Hooch got canceled after a season, and yet here we are. So who knows what this will be? Also, do we really want to do business with Tim Allen in 2021? I guess they do, but hey.
I don't know. Maybe it's one of those things where Tim Allen's not the main focus here, and he's sending someone else to go find the next Santa.
I sure as hell hope. That's it for that story, which means that's it for television news.
Or if you want to find this exact same plot and premise, watch Santa Inc. on HBO Max.
Seemed like you thought that did a better approach at the same kind of idea.
Yeah.
Except animated.
Yes.
Let's move on into thoughts. Speaking of things you've watched, you watched some new television this week.
Speaking of HBO stuff I watched on HBO.
Yes.
I think a lot of the stuff I watched on HBO Max.
Seems like it.
So we'll start with a little catch up here. We talked about last week because I forgot to write it down.
Sure.
But the Harry Potter 20th anniversary special appeared. Watched it. I liked it better than the Friends reunion. Okay. I thought it was a lot better done, especially when they had each director come back and do a little Q&A with the cast. My favorite one was with Chris Columbus, like, oh, Dan Radcliffe, how'd you know it was me? That was going to be it. Like, well, I was watching David Copperfield, and I saw you on it. And I was like, let's get that kid. And sure enough, here he is, 20 years later. But yeah, different interactions, seeing like how everyone like had a crush on literally everybody.
Oh, yeah.
And one thing that got brought up that I didn't notice was that the reason they had all the kids wearing a lot of gloves in the first film of Sorcerer's Stone and Chamber of Secrets was because all the kids would play that slapping hand game.
Oh my gosh.
So like in between takes, so the back of their hands would always turn red. And they didn't want that. So that's why they're always wearing gloves when you see them.
It's real stupid.
Yeah, but you're dealing with kids.
Just tell them not to do it.
But you're dealing with kids.
So,
it's hilarious. But yeah, I mean, I like that kind of stuff more, kind of the behind the scenes, reflecting back on stuff rather than what the Friends was, which was
just
a parade of like the best of. So
if you have nostalgia for the movies, despite the baggage of J.K. Rowling, do you think this is worth a watch?
Well, yeah, because they're very limited to what J.K. Rowling actually is in it. They don't
talked about last week,
or the week before on the first episode of the new season, where they didn't have any new interviews with her. It was just stuff that was already archived, and they used that pretty sparingly as well.
Okay,
so it's just added like a soundbite here and there to help express stuff. But overall, it was the cast. It was focused on the cast and the movies, not necessarily the books themselves.
Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, if you like those movies, if that's part of your childhood, that's available for you.
But if you're a Potterhead and deeply ingrained into the movies and the films and the play, then Hogwarts Tournament of Houses was a thing that ran on TBS.
Yeah.
I don't think I mentioned it, but it was something that I was watching like on a weekly basis. And yeah, I thought I knew a lot about those films, but damn, I don't know jack shit compared to these people.
Oh no.
There's some people deeply ingrained
super fans.
Super fans.
There. Super fans.
Oh yeah. Oh, like deep super fans. Like they had like one of the challenges was like we're doing a close up on an image. Tell me what this image is. Or we brought actual props from the set of Harry Potter.
Yeah.
Tell me which one is the actual prop.
Wow.
And one of them was like, here are 5 of the Ravenclaw diadems. Which one was the actual diadem used in the film? Even though it was actually on screen for a total of a minute.
Oh my God. That's funny.
And these people get it right.
I'm sure they do.
Like, what is going on here? So yeah, if you want to test your Harry Potter trivia, Hogwarts Tournament of Houses, HBO Max. All episodes are streaming, hosted by Dame Judi Dench.
Okay.
I don't know why.
Sure. Why not?
She's like no connection to the actual Harry Potter universe.
But she's British.
She's British, and they can get her.
Yeah. So there you go.
So there you go. All right.
Well. Okay.
Yeah. So 2 Harry Potter stuff on HBO Max.
Yeah.
Continuing the Wizarding world that Warner Brothers wants.
But outside of the Wizarding world, what else is happening?
Let's talk about the new season that I'm excited to watch. The Righteous Gemstones.
Okay, yeah, you really enjoyed season 1.
Yeah, Dan McBride's starring vehicle.
Yeah.
About the televangelical religious compound family.
Right.
Of the Gemstones. Hence the name, the Righteous Gemstones. Continues hilarious family shenanigans. Kind of expanding their operation, especially taking into real life events of COVID and real life events of everything as a streaming service now. Still hilarious, still funny. I like Danny McBride's stuff, especially since he did Eastbound and Down, which was super raunchy in terms of that. But this is a bit more toned down, but I still like the family dynamic here. They're still hitting all the right strides that I like in that Danny McBride can do, and not the over like say fuck every 3 words kind of stuff that he can do. But I like it. It's super fun.
Great.
I'm gonna watch this one through the end of the season as well. My only cautionary tale is that why you probably shouldn't watch this is one, your actual like religious affiliations. Sometimes they can and kind of do at times like poo-poo on that kind of stuff.
But you know what you're getting into with the show that this is the premise.
Yeah, this is the premise.
Like,
right. It's like all the backdoor shady deals that going on.
Yeah. You know what this is.
It's treating religion as a corporation.
I mean, if you know anything about this real life people who do this, like your Tammy Faye Bakers, et cetera, then you know what you're getting into by watching the show. You know, this is going to be a satire about the real thing that happens.
Yeah, but it's also about like family and power dynamics. So basically Succession, but in terms of like religious property.
Makes sense.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
I'm glad it's so good.
Still good.
What else?
Now get to the big question mark here.
Okay.
Peacemaker.
Yeah.
The show based off the movie, based off the character.
All right. So I guess the context for this is in last year's The Suicide Squad.
Yes. No. I think it's Suicide Squad.
No, that's Suicide Squad is the first one. The Suicide Squad is the most recent one.
Yes.
So in The Suicide Squad, we were introduced to the Peacemaker character with John Cena.
Yes. So
this is a series about that character from that movie,
following the events of the Suicide Squad.
Although, if you've seen that movie, you're probably like, "Wait, following the events?"
Yeah.
But okay.
Well, because that was insane of a movie.
Yeah.
Also, spoiler: he had a building fall on him.
I was gonna say, there's a lot of questions about who survived by the end of that movie.
Yeah.
So to say that this takes place after definitely makes you think about what happened with that character.
They blow it off in like the first 5 minutes.
Got it.
They basically explain one, like, should he be back in prison then?
Yes.
2, does he still have that chip in his head? And 3, like, how did he survive if like he had a whole building like crumble on him?
But the other thing about this, besides the complicated story nature of it following that movie, is that James Gunn is involved. He is producing this show as well. So does it live up to the promise of that movie?
This feels like James Gunn and John Cena, became really good friends on the set.
Sure.
And John Cena pitched the idea to HBO Max executives while they were on set and said, "Hey, I really like this character. I think we do more with it."
Yeah.
And James Gunn's like, "Yeah, I like working with him.
Yeah.
I think we can make this happen.
Sure.
I think this might be the thing that makes John Cena become the take it to the next level."
Sure.
And you know what? They might be right about that.
Okay, all right.
It's actually really funny. It's actually really good. It's taking the punches at current culture, especially since Peacemaker is kind of like the comic book macho white guy.
Sure.
But living in a 2022 world where most of that doesn't quite fly, especially all the misogyny.
Yeah, this sounds like it's getting into Deadpool territory. Is it similar in vibe to those movies?
The comedy is similar in vibe, but it doesn't break the fourth wall.
Okay, all right.
But it does reference a lot of DC stuff, so it's still set within the DC universe. This does almost feel like HBO Max's try at what Disney's been doing with the Disney Plus shows for Marvel.
Sure, but comedy.
And not just comedy, but kind of like it's a big event that Peacemaker can solve.
Of course.
But then you go, but then you also reference like there's Superman, there's Batman, there's Wonder Woman in this world of superheroes.
Why does it have to be him?
Why does it have to be me? And they kind of address that too.
All right.
But also, like, because he's working with a team, it's very hilarious and like taking in that James Gunn way of taking what would be the American ideals, everything's about peace and love, even have to kill for peace, and spinning it into the way that he can that made people love John Cena in the role during the film.
Yeah. I mean, I like that film a lot. My takeaway was, though, not I want to see more of John Cena's character.
Right.
So it is weird that this is the character that they've glommed onto for this spinoff. That being said, I'm glad that it sounds like they mostly pull it off, and then it seems like it's a worthwhile addition to that story. Yeah, I mean, maybe I'll try it. I don't know. I don't know if this is something that I want right now, but like, it's interesting that it's good.
I would say this seems like something I would rather binge watch.
Sure.
At the end.
Sure.
Except that everything's like 40 minutes to an hour.
So it's a lot.
So
it's a lot to do.
It's a lot to do. It does start with a 3-episode premiere.
Okay.
Which is all available on HBO Max right now.
Yeah.
So you can watch all 3 episodes and then determine if it's for you or not.
Okay. All right. That's good.
I think it's hooked me.
Okay.
So I'll continue watching it, at least on a weekly basis. But the other show that also premiered, Euphoria, came back.
Season 2.
Yes. I still haven't completed season 1. I don't think I'm going to.
Yeah, but it's not for us. It's not for us.
It's not for us, but
That's
people.
why we haven't talked about it on the show.
But people I work with are watching it,
Sure.
and keep telling me that I should be watching it. I'm like,
I like Zendaya. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
Media boat favorite Michi.
Yes.
But it's just not for me. It's the same vibe that reboot of Gossip Girl gave me, where it's just like, I feel like I need to be 10 years younger for this.
See, that's the thing.
I'm too old.
The people I work with are about 10 years younger.
That checks out. It's like, if you're in your early 20s, absolutely go for it. This is probably for you. But I don't know. I don't know if I maybe have aged out of Euphoria at this point.
Right, because that was me like after 4 episodes. Maybe it's not for me. Like, it's the shock for shock's sake, and sure. I'm not that shocked.
No.
Or should be shocked.
There was an era for that, and we missed it.
No,
we were watching.
We had girls.
We were watching girls.
And before that, there was Sex in the City.
Yeah, well, I mean, that skews a little over. Yeah, I get what you're saying. But anyway.
Let's say that was before us.
Yeah.
Anyways.
So that exists.
So that exists.
If that's for you, have fun.
Yep. Peacemaker. If it's for you, like I said, the 3 episodes are on HBO Max. Give it a shot. You can stop it at any time because it's on HBO Max, and you can just say, okay, this is clearly not for me.
But last and not least.
Oh, last and not least,
yes.
I finally got around to this.
Okay.
The Tom Brady special.
Maybe as least then.
Okay.
I misspoke.
Man in the Arena.
Yeah, this exists.
Based on the quote by Winston Churchill of everyone's critics except for the band.
Yeah.
Man in the Arena.
Yeah. Usually pulled out by assholes. Anyways.
It's usually pulled out by people who are trying to be critical of the critics.
Right, exactly. Assholes. Anyways, go on.
Anyways, Man in the Arena chronicles Tom Brady's Super Bowl runs. The 6, now 7, possibly 8. I don't know if they're going to do this year. Super Bowl runs of him as the quarterback for the New England Patriots.
Mm-hmm.
And each episode brings in 2 different people who played with Tom Brady and kind of interviews them about that specific season.
Yeah.
Except there's one glaring hole here.
Okay.
One big, giant Belichick-sized hole here.
Yeah.
And that is, there's no quotes or interviews from Bill Belichick.
It's kind of weird.
The coach.
Yeah.
The head coach.
And the
guy who coached Tom Brady.
A very important figure in Tom Brady's years as a football player.
Yep. Like, noticeably missing here in the interviews.
That's a pretty important omission.
Yeah. But it is the Tom Brady show. Yeah. Tom Brady's putting this on. Would you like to talk about Man in the Arena?
I have a comment.
Okay.
Bill and Tom split up. So obviously during the making of this, which was probably a year ago, did they make an episode on the Bucks? Do we know that?
I believe so, yes.
So I think it's too fresh.
Just bad blood.
Just too bad blood.
I think so.
Bad
they had a weird. It was a weird ending, you know.
Sure, absolutely.
I'm sure it'll get into it. We're not there yet.
Well, not to mention every episode kind of has. My brother's a little bit further along in it than we are, and every episode has like different contributors.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think Bill's going to be in it at all.
No.
I have a feeling it's too fresh.
Yeah.
If they did this in 5 years, totally. Because
but if we do it in 5 years, it'll become the the ESPN 30 for 30 special, Two Bills, with Bill Parcells and Bill Belichick.
That's a great 30 for 30.
It is. That's why I brought it up, because it's a great 30 for 30.
Fantastically done. But as a Tom Brady fan, I love it. I think it's really cool to kind of go back in time and remember, because that first Super Bowl he won, for me at least, is the
one against the Rams.
That's the first one I like really vividly remember.
Yeah, the one against.
Oh yeah, I vividly remember it too. Being pissed off at it.
I was gonna say I vividly remember cheering.
The one where he faced the greatest show on turf and only scored one touchdown and had his defense bail him out and had Adam Vinatieri bail him out twice.
Oh yeah.
And he should have gotten to this.
Every quarterback, including your beloved Peyton, has been bailed out by a defense.
Oh, and I agree with that. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that this is how we get Super Bowl winning quarterback Joe Flacco into this.
Elite Joe Flacco.
Yes, the elite Joe Flacco.
I love how we're airing like 20-year-old grievances here. Anyway,
no, we did.
I will say I think it's very well done. And I think it's a cool way.
Oh no, it's really well done. I'm just saying it's very one-sided.
Oh well, yeah. You're gonna get bias in these things.
Well, especially with Tom Brady as the executive producer on this. He's gonna make it all about himself.
I mean, this is The Last Dance all over again, right?
Yeah, except he's not done though. This isn't The Last Dance. I'm looking back at 20 years later.
Sure.
This is The Last Dance as I'm still dancing.
But I mean, because both are executive produced by the person that's the story is being told.
Yes.
So
The Last Dance was.
There's a finger on the scale. Right. There's a finger on the scale. But it was still great. And so I get what you're saying.
Well done.
Is that it's a well done story about this person who is a fascinating person, whether you're a fan of him or not.
Right.
Yeah. What do you like? He's been around for 20 years.
Right.
So there's a reason for that.
Like it or not, he will go down as very important for the sport.
And that's what this series kind of goes into.
Sure.
Like he is the man in the arena here, like arena football.
Sure. Yes.
Not arena football league, but
can you imagine? An alternate universe, Tom Brady arena football.
He can't run.
Yeah, it wouldn't go well.
It wouldn't.
Yeah, that would be it. It is fascinating to look back though, because it's like kind of crazy that the tuck rule game and all of that was
they go to
20 years ago.
Not just the tuck rule, but that
and Brady is still an MVP candidate 20 years later.
Somehow.
Say what you will.
Right. The fact that he should have lost in the AFC Championship
I'm not
game.
going to argue that.
We cannot keep going back and forth about Tom Brady's career.
Oh no, let's see. This is what we were doing like post show too.
Well, I believe it.
But early on, the defense was why that Belichick specifically.
Yes, that's what I mean. Is that because Belichick's defense basically won Tom Brady all these Super Bowls. The fact that Belichick is not there, and they're talking to the players who reference Bill Belichick constantly.
I think by the third one, it's more Tom, but I will give you that.
All right.
Anyways, we should probably move on. But thank you.
I had to put in my 2 cents.
Our Tom Brady correspondent. Thank you.
I was going to say I'm biased that
Sure.
way.
I know you are.
No, it's good to have a variety of perspectives at this podcast.
And I can appreciate even if it's somebody I'm not.
Sure.
I wasn't that into Michael Jordan, but The Last Dance was so compelling.
It's good.
You know.
I still got to watch that with Christy. She hasn't seen it yet, and we want to sit down and watch that.
Oh, it's so good.
Maybe we'll start that tonight. It's good. It's good.
So,
saved us during quarantine.
Oh, me too. Trust me.
There's 2 big hurdles though with the man in the arena though.
Okay.
The first, how much you like Tom Brady, because it's all Tom Brady.
Yeah.
The second is ESPN Plus. This is ESPN Plus exclusive.
Yeah. So if you don't have that,
if you don't have that, you don't have this. Yes.
Yeah. All right.
So those are the 2 big hurdles. If you can get over those, this is clearly for you. And I will say right now, we may talk about it at the end of the year.
Well, you're getting way ahead of yourself.
Getting way ahead of myself here.
So let's instead move on. Out of thoughts. I've just been watching Jeopardy. Amy Schneider still kicking ass. She passed James Holzhauer on last night's game. Sorry, spoiler if you haven't watched it.
No, I watched it.
And so so she's now the third.
I also got the Final Jeopardy right. I'm surprised everyone missed it.
Oh yeah, last night's.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
How could it not be Hawaii?
Yeah, Christy got that one too.
It was right away. That's Hawaii, duh. And they're like, oh, why are we in California?
Anyway, but yeah, so still watching that, and I'm currently catching up on season 2 of Netflix's Hilda, the animated series based on the children's books, because in anticipation of watching the movie that's on Netflix The Mountain King, I want to say it's called. It's the feature-length Hilda film. We haven't watched it. We'll probably watch that tonight, so I'll talk about that next week.
Nice.
So that debuted about a week and a half ago. So other than that, though, just catch up. Still watch new episodes of Abbott Elementary and Keenan, which are my current season shows. Other than that, just waiting for new stuff.
Yep. I actually watched season 2 or episode 2 of Guys Chance of a Lifetime.
Yeah? Did any better?
They're trying to pitch stuff.
Oh, okay.
So it was a little bit better, but still, it's.
Yeah, I'm glad you told me. It's like, oh, this is The Apprentice, because that solved the puzzle in my head about why I don't like it.
Yes.
I was like, oh, that's why I don't like it, because it's The Apprentice.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on into cancellations and renewals then.
Right. What am I no longer watching?
Well, you're no longer watching I Know What You Did Last Summer, the series on Prime Video, because Amazon canceled it after just one season. Meanwhile, if you can bear season 2 of Emily in Paris, there are 2 more seasons coming your way somehow, because inexplicably people like that show. Don't get it. 2 more seasons, which will bring it to 4 total seasons so far on Netflix.
Which is twice as much Netflix likes to put for a show.
Yeah, so get ready for that. Grey's Anatomy will get an unprecedented 19th season on ABC.
Remember when they said the final season?
They've been saying the final season for 4 years. Station 19 on ABC will be getting a 6th season. Yes, Station 19 is a show on television.
And yes, it's been on for 6 years following Grey's Anatomy.
Apple TV Plus is renewing The Morning Show for a 3rd season after, I guess, it continues to inexplicably be nominated for awards. Hulu is bringing back The Great for season 3. I've been recommended this as it's a similar period piece, but with modern elements, just like Dickinson. So Christy and I will eventually get to that. And 60 Minutes Plus has been canceled on Paramount Plus. I guess an extension to 60 minutes.
I guess you only need 60 minutes to tell everything. And anything over that is
all you need.
Overkill.
Epix is bringing back Godfather of Harlem for a 3rd season. Netflix has canceled Gentlefled?
Might be, that's a Gentlefled. I don't know.
Gentlefled? I don't know what the hell that is. Canceled after 2 seasons. And Peacock is bringing back One of Us is Lying for a 2nd season. It's not me.
That must be it.
Yeah, it's gotta be.
Yeah.
Mic trap back there. Anyway. Then we move into deaths, and oof. Just seems rough after a rough week lately. This week also a rough run.
Right. Where are the tissues?
Yeah.
Where are the tissues?
Out of nowhere.
My childhood is gone.
Yes, this week we lost every
TV
kid
dad.
in the 90s TV dad. Bob Saget at age 65. Of course, famous for Full House, the narrator on How I Met Your Mother, the host of Funniest Home Videos, and super raunchy a stand-up comic, much to the surprise of people who grew up with him as their TV dad. So yeah, definitely a storied career, important figure in comedy in the 90s and 2000s. Was still touring with stand-up to the day he died. He had tweeted the night before after a performance that he had been at. So he was going right up to the edge there. No known cause of death quite yet.
I thought I saw.
As of what I read this morning, there didn't seem to be an update to the story.
Oh, you read that this morning?
Yeah, so I don't know if there's still an update to the story about exactly what the circumstances of it. He was found in a hotel room. It seems like that cops after the death ruled out drugs being involved. He has had a history of drug use and abuse, so that was a question whether this had taken place. But one though, especially for kids our generation, because he was a figure like a constant figure on television while we were growing up. Let's move on. We have Michael Lang, age 77, a concert producer and the co-creator. Yeah, okay. A possible heart attack or stroke for Bob Saget. But like I said, nothing's super confirmed. Anyway, Michael Lang, age 77, a concert producer, recently seen in that Woodstock 99 documentary. And the co-creator of Woodstock and a figurehead for the series, was also one of the people who was actively trying to get it back on the ground in 2020. Of course, now we know that didn't happen. But passed away at 77. Marilyn Bergman, age 93, a Hall of Fame songwriter, wrote The Way We Were, The Windmills of Your Mind, won 3 Oscars, 1969, 1974, and 1984.
Nice.
So film music. Joyce Eliason, age 87, a TV writer / producer, worked on The Jacksons and American Dream, Titanic, and A Loss of Innocence.
That is Titanic, 1996 CBS TV version.
Right, not the film.
No, she's a TV writer producer.
Yes. And then last but certainly not least, Ronnie Spector, age 78, Hall of Fame singer, famous for the Ronettes.
Do you call it Ronettes or Ronettes?
Ronettes.
I call them Ronettes.
Anyways, famous girl group, of course, responsible for, in my opinion, the greatest song of all time, "Be My Baby."
That's always going through my head.
Yeah, because it's the greatest song of all time. And also, of course, unfortunately, forever linked to Phil Spector.
Dolly Parton would like a word with you on that.
Yeah, but yes, and unfortunately has that baggage with her. But besides that, survived. Important as a survivor of such abuse, and only dying recently is quite a storied career and an important figure in music. Let's move on out of that dreary hole and into the movies section, where we talk about, as we always do, the box office numbers. This weekend was no different from the previous 3. Spider-Man No Way Home was your #1 movie again. It made another $32 million. That's at $668 million domestic, which is not a bad number even for a film not coming out during a pandemic. So Congratulations to Spider-Man continuing to kill it in the box office. Number 2, Sing 2, still whipping away with another $11 million. That's 108. Did pass that 100 as we said it would last week. Number 3, The 355 with a $4.6 million debut. Well, considering it probably didn't cost that much to make.
Considering it probably cost $2 million to make.
Right, not bad. Off the top 5, unfortunately.
Actually, probably $5 million because it has some big stars in it.
Maybe, yeah. But off the top 5 and flopping somehow even harder than The Kingsman in the end of the day is The Matrix Resurrections.
Yeah, at number 6.
Yikes. Upcoming this week, though, if you are into horror movies, do I have a treat for you? Yesterday, we saw the debut of the reboot of Scream.
No, not Scream painting.
No. Scream, I heard good things about it. Speaking of The Matrix Resurrections, I heard that it does some similar things.
Yes, I heard the same thing.
To the genre of horror movies and the Scream movies in particular.
Yeah, I heard the same thing. Where it toes the line between being a reboot, remake, or sequel.
Yeah, I mean, they kind of did the same thing with 4. Yeah. If you haven't seen Scream 4, I recommend this is a good time to watch it in anticipation of this new one.
I believe they're all on Peacock.
All of them are currently available on Peacock. We watched Scream 1. Chrissy hadn't seen it last week, and we both enjoyed it very much. Still holds up. All right, moving on to next week's releases. This upcoming Friday, we have The King's Daughter. And you have pulled up the log line for us here. King Louis XIV's quest for immortality leads him to capture and steal a mermaid's life force, a move that is further complicated by his illegitimate daughter's discovery of the creature. That does not seem like a real movie that exists, and yet it apparently is.
It attracted Pierce Brosnan to it. So
somehow.
There's your level of quality.
So if that sounds interesting to you, go see The King's Daughter at theaters on Friday. Anyway, let's move on into our movie news stories this week. We start as we hinted at earlier in the show, with the non-show that is the Golden Globes, because they happened. They just nobody saw them because they were not televised or streamed.
Yep, this was our story last week, but they still get out awards.
Here are the winners. West Side Story and The Power of the Dog won big on the untelevised, unstreamed ceremony, as the winners were announced over the Twitter account of the Hollywood Foreign Press Association. The Power of the Dog also won Best Directing for Jane Campion and Supporting Actor for Cody Smith-McPhee. West Side Story also won Best Actress for newcomer Rachel Zegler and Supporting Actress for Ariana DeBose. Other top acting awards went to Nicole Kidman for drama, Will Smith for actor, and Andrew Garfield for comedy. On the TV side, HBO was the big winner, with both Succession and Hacks winning respective TV series awards, with Jeremy Strong and Sarah Snook winning acting awards for Succession, and Jean Smart Hacks. Other acting winners include Jason Sudeikis winning for Ted Lasso and Michaela J. Rodriguez for Pose, who became the first transgender woman to win the award. Other awards included Drive My Car from Japan for Best Foreign Language Film, Kenneth Branagh's Belfast for Best Screenplay, and Encanto for Animated Film. So there you go. Will this matter? Do you see Golden Globe little tags on movie trailers or posters going forward? I would bet absolutely not. I don't think anybody will care.
I say yes, but in that really small
fine
print
small,
that says Golden Globe.
It'll say Best Picture, and it'll say in tiny ass print, Golden Globe.
Yes.
22. So yeah, this is a blip on the radar in award season. Let's move on to our second story, which weirdly enough is a crossover with music.
See, I thought you'd have this on there because music.
I didn't, because this is not a music story as much as it is a movie story.
But it does involve someone from music, Kendrick Lamar.
Yes, Kendrick Lamar, the Grammy-winning rapper. Also, Dave Free and South Park creators Matt Stone and Trey Parker are in the news this week for signing on to produce an Untitled live-action comedy for Paramount Pictures. The film will be penned by 4-time Emmy winner Vernon Chapman, who worked on South Park post-COVID most recently. We'll see the past and present come to a head when a young black man who is interning as a slave reenactor at a living history museum discovers that his white girlfriend's ancestors once owned his ancestors. Wow! Paramount Pictures will handle theatrical distribution, home entertainment, and television licensing rights, and the film will also stream on Paramount+. South Park's 25th season, by the way, starts on February 2nd on Comedy Central, is a milestone season for the show.
Yep. Note there. But yeah, I assume this also because Matt Stone and Trey Parker have 900 million good relations with Paramount and Viacom CBS. And then Kendrick Lamar getting in on this.
Yeah, I mean, this doesn't super surprise me. Kendrick Lamar is fascinated with this kind of subject matter. He's written a lot of music about this kind of idea, about the warring ideas of the past and the present and the baggage of the past coming to bite you in the present. And so this premise, I could see why this would interest him.
Also, the writer, Vernon Chapman, won a Peabody for his work as well. He's been a writer on South Park for the past 20 years, but also a writer for various ensemble pieces like the New York Times, which is where he
bring in the big guns, I guess, for some social.
No. This isn't going to be some. Oh, we're going to make fun, and this is a comedy. No, this is the heavy hitting comedy that we, especially coming from South Park guys. Where Book of Mormon, look at that.
Yeah, thank you. We will be back next week, as we always are, for another episode. In the meantime, if you want to see our live or recorded episodes in video form, you can go to our YouTube page. We're on YouTube as Media Boat Podcast. Search that. You can find our page. Like, subscribe, comment, whatever you need to do. Click the bell for notifications, and you'll know when we go live. You can also listen to us in audio form. We're available on any podcast catcher you use, including Apple Podcasts, Amazon, Google Play, iHeartRadio, Spotify, wherever you listen. We are there. Search Media Boat Podcast. On Twitter, our handle is @MediaBoatCast. Facebook, search Media Boat Podcast to find our page. And if you want to email us questions, comments, feedback, anything you want, mediaboatpodcast@gmail.com is the email address for that. We will read them and maybe even talk about them on the show if we ever get an email. Please email us. We're sad. We want feedback, please. Somebody. Anyway, so thanks for listening to this week. We'll be back next week for more news, thoughts, everything that we have. We'll be back next week with more. So
we'll be back with more thoughts. I don't think anything in music, but I do know that Disney Plus recently the new season for Secrets of Sulphur Springs, which I enjoyed talking about last year. So
look forward to that.
We'll have thoughts on that and lots more thoughts next week.
So thanks for joining us. See you next time.
Okay, bye.
Bye-bye. Cool hour 30.
Cool. I mean, that's where we get to. About an hour 30.
That's our average.
Yep.
That's our average.
Thanks for listening. YouTube.
See you
guys
next time.
later.
Bye-bye. Okay.